Hey, my name is Andrew J. West. I played Gareth on The Walking Dead, and you are listening to Creech Questions.
Hi, I'm Denise Crosby, and you're listening to Creech Questions.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Creech Questions. This is episode 36, and we are once again brought to you by the Dead Connection. In the background is The Irma and Louise with their song East Virginia. You can check out more of their music right now online at www.theirmalouise.ch. Now this week we have our awesome co-host back, Miss Alyssa Mullen.
Hey.
And we are excited to talk the finale of Fear the Walking Dead. Now, before we do that, let's go ahead and get into our shout-outs.
You give me a gift, bam, thank you note. You invite me somewhere, pow, RSVP. You do me a favor, wham, favor returned. Do not test my politeness.
My shout out is to the whole Walking Dead fan base because they have been nothing but supportive to me, and I feel like I need to give them a shout out to let them know that I love them just as much. So thank you guys.
Yes, the Walking Dead family and fan base and the group, the Bells of the Dead, they're all pretty amazing, and I'm really glad that we get to interact with them all the time on this show and on Twitter and Facebook and everything. They're just the greatest people.
I agree.
Now, I have shout-outs too, so this is actually history in the making. The first time we both have shout-outs. The first shout-out is going to be to AMC for, once again, inviting me. I'll be going to New York City this Friday to see The Walking Dead premiere at Madison Square Garden. It's going it's going to be insane. And I may do a podcast on the way back, obviously spoiler-free. But it's going to be an exciting journey there and an exciting time. They've pretty much already announced the cast that's going to be there, and pretty much it's all the main cast. And then they're going to do a panel afterwards that's hosted by Yvette Nicole Brown from Community.
Oh, I love her. She's so funny.
Yeah, she's going to be doing like I guess kind of like our own little live version of Talking Dead there. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about it.
Definitely. Also, this weekend, I want to give a shout out to OSCW, which is Old School Championship Wrestling. After coming back from New York City Saturday night, we've got filming at OSCW on Sunday night. So we hope to see people out there if you're in the local Hanahan area and South Carolina. And if I can squeeze it in, this is also the weekend that I would be filming with Steve-O. I just got to find the time to fit him in my schedule.
Well, fingers crossed.
I know.
That'd be awesome.
It's going to be pretty busy. My last shout out is to all of my listeners and friends and everybody who's been messaging me, including Alyssa. If you've been following the news, you've heard about Hurricane Joaquin. It didn't hit South Carolina, but the rain effects mixed with this system that was already moving through the southern states, and it created a ton of rainfall. There's a ton of flooding going on right now. It's really bad. There's some locations in South Carolina that have over 24 inches of water right now. And actually, right before we started recording this, they just said one of the dams in South Carolina broke. So that's going to release even more water. Roads have been collapsing. It's been pretty chaos.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's been chaos here. Roads are constantly being closed. It's been hectic. My back porch flooded, but thankfully it didn't get into the house. It just flooded my screened-in back porch. My friend wasn't so lucky. He lives about 5 minutes from my house. His first floor of his 2-floor apartment was flooded.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been crazy here, but thank you for everybody for checking up on me. I am good, and we are podcasting as normal. It's business as usual. It's been. I'm actually missing sunshine. It's been raining almost nonstop for 4 days now, and yeah, I know there's been those fires and that drought in California. If there was some way I could get that water over there, I would gladly give it to them.
Oh, no kidding. Well, be safe. That's scary.
Yes, and I will continue to be safe. And now on a better topic, a more lighter topic. Well, I can't even say lighter at this point. Let's talk Fear the Walking Dead. All right, so it was an hour. I think it was an hour and 10 minutes long last night. The finale. Mm-hmm. And it was insane.
I know. It was nonstop. I mean, I couldn't. I did have my hands up on my head. I was like on the edge of my couch. I was like, oh my God. It was great. It was obviously the best episode so far, which as a finale should be. But yeah, it was amazing.
It really was. I've been digging it pretty much since the beginning, and I've enjoyed definitely the ride they've taken us through. But last night just completely blew me away. Even though the one part that there was only one part to me that kind of bothered me about last night, and it wasn't Daniel leading that whole slew of zombies. I thought that was actually pretty funny. The way he played it off, he's like, "You're gonna want to save your bullets," so then there's like thousands of zombies. But
yeah, that part was great. He just casually walks away like nothing is happening.
Yeah, he's like just on his morning constitutional, just walking around.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was funny. But the part that kind of I don't know. It seems like Adam, who was Sean Natosi, the military guy who got tortured by Daniel. He talked Travis into letting him go just for him to come back and try to enact revenge, which I guess you could most people probably assume something like that was going to happen anyway. But I don't know, just the fact that it didn't make sense that the whole time he's being tortured, and even before he was in a relationship with Ophelia, and then instead of going after Daniel, he just goes to shoot Ophelia. I don't know, that doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah, at first I was like, what just happened? But then I thought about it, and when Daniel was telling him about Ophelia and how when she was born and she was the purest thing he'd ever see and this and that, I think maybe his revenge was to hurt her. He obviously didn't, I don't know if he probably didn't mean to shoot her to kill her, but maybe that was his revenge because he knew if he got to his daughter that would hurt him the most. In a weird way, you know what I mean? Like, it's strange, but,
Very true. And that's true. And I believe Sean, I can't remember. I think it was last night. He posted a picture of the arm, of what his makeup effects looked like. And he mentioned that one of the reasons why he may have actually been aiming for Daniel, but just because of the damage that was done to his arm, it may have thrown his actual, I guess, targeting off.
Well, that was quite a miss. I mean, she was kind of standing far apart, wasn't she?
I think they were at least 10, 15 feet apart. Maybe not as much, but yeah, they were
made a big movement to shoot her.
Maybe he had a muscle spasm at the last second before pulling the trigger. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you know what? And then I loved what Travis did, because it was reminiscent to what Shane did to Ed. That was Carol's husband's name, right? Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of what he did to him.
Very
true.
true.
I was like, go Travis. It's about time. Like, he had a rough time this season finale. Finally getting it now.
Yeah, they were, even Chris Hardwick on Talking Dead was riding him pretty hard about Travis not wanting to do anything, get his hands dirty, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, we didn't get to see Tobias last night. However,
I know.
however, I still hold belief that he will be back in season 2, which will thankfully be much longer.
I
But there's-
know, gosh. Great. Now we have, like, Walking Dead full seasons, and now this is going to be full seasons. Man, are we going to even be able to do anything else but watch these shows? We're not going to have lives.
Yeah, you know what? I'm fine with that. And I'm actually really glad too that the interviews we're going to air after this. It's probably like maybe 10 minutes at a time. I'm really glad that these interviews are airing this week on our podcast, because even though, like I was saying in the beginning, it was only an hour and maybe 10 minutes of actual showtime, there's so much packed into that hour and 10 minutes that we could talk about it forever. And yeah, I mean, I watched it, and this doesn't happen very often, even with The Walking Dead. I actually stayed up late last night after Talking Dead to rewatch Fear the Walking Dead again, because there was just so much going on in the finale that it was kind of hard to just get it all in one go-round.
I know. I almost did the same exact thing, but I was so tired. I was like, to stay up and watch it again or sleep. But sleep got me. So, but I'll definitely watch it again because, yeah, it was intense and there's so much to digest.
I will say that it seems like I was actually just thinking about it too. There was one other little point that kind of got me a little bit iffy on the episode. There was a lot of great stuff within it, but then the two things, like the gun, kind of threw me off when Adam shot Ophelia. But the second part that just kind of, I felt like it was just thrown in there unnecessarily, was with Chris and Alicia. When they were waiting out by the car and the soldiers come, and then they knock him out in one punch and take his car anyway. And it's not like they were left after the soldiers drove off. It's not like they were left any worse off, because no matter what, they still had another vehicle to bring people with. And so I was just I thought that was kind of a waste of time. But I guess you have to give.
I don't know. I kind of saw it as bringing them two closer, because they always seem to have not really a relationship at all, because he didn't seem to like the fact that his father was with her family, so it was kind of weird between them. But I feel like he stepped up for her, and I think maybe that will help their relationship and show that they're not against each other. They're actually with each other and should support each other and get each other through this.
Now, I do want to raise this question. I actually, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to the podcast last week, but during the wrap-up, when watching the last episode, a thought crossed my mind, and I didn't really like that thought. I was hoping they don't go that route, but I want to ask your opinion, what you think, between everything that happened between them tonight, or last night's episode, the finale, and then the previous episode where he caught her, or he was looking at her while she was looking at herself in the mirror. Do you think they are hinting at any sort of relationship between those two? I mean, I know technically, I guess they're not brother and sister, but still.
Yeah, I was a little confused by that whole scene too. I don't know what to make of that. I mean, I hope not. That'd be kind of
weird.
strange.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, technically, I guess the parents aren't married, so I mean, they're not brother and sister, but still, yeah, it just seems kind of, weird. I mean, I'm all for them pushing boundaries, and I mean, The Walking Dead has never shied away from taboo anything. So it could be or couldn't be, but I don't know. That was the only thing that kind of made me feel a little bit weird. I was like, this is kind of odd.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. I guess we'll see.
And what are you thinking of first off, the amazing sounding? I mean, basically young Morgan Freeman, character Strand. Do you trust his character?
As of right now, yes, just because he's kind of letting them in to his home and, letting them know about the boat. But, everybody has the potential to get crazy. I mean, the governor, if you've read the books and know his backstory, like, he didn't start out that way. So a lot of things could happen along the way to make this guy really crazy. And he's a smooth talker, and he knows what he's doing. So I don't know. If I were them, I'd be on the fence with everybody I met from that point on. So, yeah.
Yeah, I hope. Now, this is just me. I mean, granted, they could knock it out of the park. I'm really hoping. I hope they don't get to the boat, to be honest. I mean, what are they going to do? The walking Titanic? I mean, you know, I don't want to spend like 8 months, or, you know, actually probably not 8 months, probably like 8 weeks or so, depending on how many episodes they go with. I think it's 13, so it'd probably be 13. Unless they have it. But I don't want to spend an insane amount of time on a boat, because the boat would be very... I mean, it was a big boat, yes, but it would still be a long time to focus on characters just in that small setting. And
yeah,
when I hear of islands, because, you know, that's one of the... I guess one of Strand's plans is he wants to go to an island where supposedly, you know, it's infection-free. When I hear islands, I just think of Dawn of the Dead 2004 and the credits when they get to that island and everybody dies. I don't know. I'm kind of. It seems like, I mean, once again, it doesn't have to cross paths with The Walking Dead. You know, I don't mind if it doesn't, but it definitely seems like they're trying to go further and further away from that location, because if the boat's out west, even further, I mean, California is pretty much as west as you can get, but the boat would be off the coast. So,
right.
I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go. I could see very easily Strand turning into a bad guy. I mean, usually the rich people do become the bad guys in the end, in most things.
He would be a very good bad guy. I mean,
oh, yes.
He knows what he's doing, and we don't really know his background. So, I mean, I'm interested to see his story. And was the boat just, like, floating out there? Like, how are they going to get it anyway?
Yeah, I think it was just floating, because, I mean, it didn't look like there was a dock or anything out there. I mean, unless somebody just happened to drop an anchor right there, and it's just been chilling there.
I know. I'm like, what are they going to, like, swim out there and brave the currents to, like, climb the side? I don't know, but, yeah, it's very interesting. And you know what? I've thought of this whole show. I sat here and thought last night, this whole show is almost like the virus itself, because it's, like, slow and it seeps in, just like how, you know, the beginning of the show started, and then all of a sudden it ends with, like, this crazy season finale, which the virus, you know, you're finally turned. I saw all kind of, you know, it's kind of stupid, but that's how I saw it. I loved the build-up, and I love how they ended it, and they gave me the feels at the end. I mean, I think I cried a little bit, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I didn't cry. However, I feel like the only reason I didn't cry is because while Liza was definitely a good character, and it's one that a lot of people started to grow on, I feel like they could have established her more in the previous episodes before she died, because once she left with the military, I mean, they didn't spend too much time over there focusing on her. So it was maybe like 5 or 10 minutes of the entire episode at most they were spending on her. And I felt like they really missed an opportunity to really make it feel impactful. I mean, it was pretty impactful anyway. Don't get me wrong. I mean, to finally have Travis step up and take charge and be the one to put down his ex-wife in front of his current girlfriend, current lady, whatever she is, whatever Madison is to him, is a big step. And, I mean, you know, zooming out on them when they're crying right at the ocean front is pretty impactful. I mean, it's a pretty desolate ending. And,
yeah, it just shows, like, how fast it can take somebody that you care about, because it kind of reminds me of, like, the whole Maggie, Beth, and Herschel thing, like how fast they all lost each other. It just, they found each other, and then, like, she gets back, and she's gone. You think you've gotten back, you've worked so hard to find your mom and these people, and then it's just snatched from underneath you. And that's the worst. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that still, as you were just mentioning, that thing with The Walking Dead still baffles me. I mean, because granted, when you first watch it, if you're watching it live, it was a year between Herschel dying and Beth dying, but in timelines of like the actual days, chronologically, that the show's going on, it was only like 8 days apart. So it was pretty big 1-2 knockout punch for especially Maggie at that point. But
and for anybody to come back from that, I mean, you have to be a strong person. I can't say that I would. That would be terrible. But she's got a good support system, so. So does Travis, actually. So.
Yeah, I will say that I'm hoping Travis doesn't take the Maggie route and mope for like 2 or 3 episodes next season. I mean, I want to see him suffer through it, obviously, because that's how it would be in real life. However, I don't want them to do like they did with The Walking Dead, where they spent 2 episodes almost entirely devoted to just them coping. And nothing but coping, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll focus on it a bit. It will definitely affect all the characters. I mean, everybody is now shocked, to see how the world is, and then have this happen. And, I mean, nobody is safe. And they're going to have to really deal with that. It's going to be interesting.
Definitely. And I will say, it's been almost 6 weeks of striking out every single week with predictions. But I finally was right, and somebody died. So even though I was very sad to see Liza go, at the same time, I'm on the inside going, yes, I finally got one right.
They did it. And can I say something? I thought Nick was going to go. I was really scared there for a minute. Like, that whole sequence was so intense. I like the strobe light effect where it's like the lights flicker and then the like walkers are closer. Oh my gosh, I about had a heart attack that entire time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Because when he was like, I didn't think he was going to die until the point where he looks at her and he's like, go, it's okay. At that point, I was like, oh God, he's actually going to die on this one. And I was like, that's probably why
I thought it.
Yeah, I was like, that's probably why AMC hasn't been able to get me a press contact for his manager, because he was when I tried to, they said that they would, but he's unavailable right now, and he's currently filming something overseas. And then I was thinking about it last night, and I was like, oh goodness, that's gonna suck. That means he was dead. But
no,
thankfully,
good thing.
Thankfully, that didn't happen.
Right. Yeah, I totally thought, like, when Liza was trying to get the door open, that, like, we were going to see him, like, getting eaten on the other side. And, whew, that was intense. That whole thing was intense. There were some good kills at that place. Ophelia smacking that thing with, like, the bolt cutters or whatever she had. Wow.
Exactly. And I'm just going to have to say, the one that made me cringe was Dude running straight into the helicopter blades.
Yeah. Man, intensity to the max.
Definitely. And I've got, yesterday after the episode, after halfway through the Talking Dead, I went ahead and put up a post asking what everyone thought of Fear the Walking Dead. So I will discuss their comments and see what everybody thought. We got a pretty decent response. Looks like Damian Rayner said he loved it and that it's the greatest episode so far. I have to agree with
Agreed.
that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that last night, it was pretty much firing on all cylinders, and it was almost balls to the wall, non-stop chaos from beginning to end.
They had us by the neck, for sure.
Legitimately, like, everybody was freaking out last night. And it was very intense because, once again, with this, we have no basis. We don't have a graphic novel to base it off of. So Whereas other people may seem like main characters on The Walking Dead that you know aren't going to last long anyway because of their comic counterparts. This, I mean, me and you were thinking Nick we were just one of two people of many that were thinking that, but we all thought Nick was going to die, and we were all freaking out, and then, he got saved at the last second.
Right, yeah.
Now, Tamika Thompson says she gives it props tonight. She was actually a little sad that Liza was bitten. She says, I couldn't imagine being in the position of shooting someone I had children with in front of my new spouse. It was an incredible on-screen dynamic. Obviously, the teens have a backstory that I'm looking forward to exploring in Season 2, but she's really hoping Strand is not the boat governor.
That's what I'm thinking, girl. I have faith in him, but it's so hard to have faith in people in the show.
Exactly. Yeah. The people who claim to be saviors in the Walking Dead universe are usually everything but.
Right. Yeah.
Renee Smiley says, there were a few scenes that I turned and said, okay, that was weird and a waste of airtime. However, for the most part, I was intrigued and finally pulling for these characters. All season long, I've been doing my best to not compare it to my beloved The Walking Dead, because they are two separate shows. I had simply not connected to any of the Fear characters until tonight. They finally drew me into caring about some of them.
Yeah, that's a mistake that a lot of people make, is comparing it to the other show. It's they're in the same universe, but it's a whole different backdrop and a whole different story to follow. So, yeah, I'm glad she's starting to care. Yay!
Exactly. And then when they were talking about that, she had mentioned that she was finally starting to care for the characters. So I asked a follow-up question that other people answered as well, asking what characters is everyone starting to care for? Damian Rayner says Daniel Salazar. And Tamika Thompson says she has investment in Salazar and Travis, and she's not quite there with the rest yet. Elizabeth Ray says, I agree with Tamika, Salazar, and Travis, but I didn't feel that way for Travis until this last episode. He redeemed himself when he beat the crap out of that soldier that went back on his word. Mm-hmm. Which I agree
to. Yeah, Travis could, like Daniel said, we'll see what doing the right thing gets you, because it's kind of the problem that Rick had, where he just wanted to do the right thing, but sometimes that's not, in reality, it's not the right thing to do. So we're seeing some similarities here. So hopefully Travis has emerged to see that you can't always be the good guy, so to speak.
Exactly, and sometimes you're going to have to make those difficult decisions. Carrie Beth Lawrence says she likes Nick, and put in quotations, don't hit me. Don't worry, I won't, because I like Nick too. And she liked Tobias. Madison and Travis are growing on her as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think I have a connection with everybody but the daughter, Alicia. She's kind of like a mystery to me, it seems like she's holding something back, whatever it may be. But
well, I think, me personally, I'm developing connections with everybody at this point now. Look, I'm actually remembering their names, which is a good thing. However, I'm sticking to my guns, and I'm gonna be in team everybody hates Chris, because I still don't like Chris.
Oh,
I know, he's still my least favorite character. And
one day.
I'm really hoping I can get him on the podcast so I can let him know how much I hate his character. But how much, he does a good job at it. He's a good actor, don't get me wrong. It's just I hate that character. But Melissa Sando says she loves Nick, and she thinks he's a great character. She also likes Chris. I disagree about that. She says,
that's my girl.
She says, Travis and Madison are beginning to earn some respect from me. I don't think Ophelia is going to be around much longer. She thinks Salazar is okay, but that he's got some crazy lurking just under the surface.
Well, yeah, we all know what he's capable of. So
Yeah,
he's another potential threat.
You've gotta have a little bit of crazy in you to play follow the leader with about 2,000 walkers.
Right, yeah, and take a military guy and torture him in the basement. I'll take some balls.
Exactly.
Excuse my French.
Now, Renee says the person that's growing on her is Alicia. She says, at first I just thought she was a bratty teen, but she is growing on me. She says, Chris is another one. I am seeing change and growth already. Looking forward to seeing where they take him.
Right. And, I do kind of forget at times that they are teenagers.
Yes.
I don't even really grasp that fact. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, they are actually kids. So, how kids will handle this. It seems like we got some Carls on our hands. Hopefully they're not as annoying as Carl was at the very beginning.
Yeah, let's hope they can stay in the house.
Yeah. Well, they didn't stay in the car, so we're off to that start.
They did, yeah, exactly. They did not stay in the car, so they are not doing a great job right now. Cindy Sumner says, well, CJ, I started off really not liking this show. And then, bam, they hit me with a horde within 5 minutes and enough action to make me watch another season. Kudos. I honestly thought going in that this was the last hour I would waste. Man, was I wrong. So I could see that, yeah. It seems like if everybody hated the previous episodes, that a lot more people were digging this episode, probably because it was more Walking Dead-like, and with action and walkers and all this. So, yeah, it's definitely set up for a very interesting second season. Now, the last fan response is from a friend down in Noonan, Georgia, Jimmy Littlefield. He says, CJ, I gave the whole season a chance before I said anything about it, but I do not like this show at all. Sorry, I can't really get into it. I've been trying, but I can't. And
Boo. Boo. Dislike.
Well, it's interesting, though, some people aren't going to like the show. I get that. And it's actually, it's been pretty interesting because it seems like the fan base is definitely split. There's probably about 50% of Walking Dead fans that detest the new show. There's about 50% that like it. And then there's another 50% of new fans that hadn't watched the previous Walking Dead that like it as well. And it seems like there's probably more fans of Fear the Walking Dead that weren't Walking Dead fans than there actually is, Walking Dead fans. However, I like it. I could see why others may not like it. There's certain things. Plus, once you spend, 6 years with characters, it's hard to get attached to a whole new brand of characters at a different time frame. But maybe, who knows, maybe he'll give it another shot in season 2. Well, that is going to do it for not just, it was a Fear the Walking Dead wrap-up, but it was also a bit of Walking Dead talk as well. Caught up on some news. Now, the two people we have on this episode are two people that were on the same location when you were filming your stuff with The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 1. Mr. Andrew J. West and Denise Crosby, who everybody knows as Gareth and Mary from The Walking Dead. Did you have any experiences with them while you were working on the set, or did you see them around or anything like that?
I did not, unfortunately.
Oh, so in Atlanta, in like a little under, I think, 4 weeks at this point, you will get to officially meet them.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And, it's going to be crazy in Atlanta, but let's go ahead and first get to our interview with Andrew J. West. Gareth from The Walking Dead. Hey everybody, I am here with Andrew J. West, who played Gareth on The Walking Dead. First question is going to be, what overall is your favorite memory from The Walking Dead?
Oh man, it's a good question. Just the sense of community I think that you get on the set. It's not like most TV sets. There's a real sense of play and a real sense of everyone wanting to make the best possible product that they can make, and people really just giving their all to the show, which is cool. You just don't always see that. So just that sense of family, I think, and community is probably the best.
Okay. And I know you've been acting a lot recently. How is it to get to interact with former Walking Dead castmates in other movies? Because I know you have one with Josh McDermott right now.
Yeah. I just did this movie called Middleman that will hopefully be out sometime next year, but Josh is in it. Josh is awesome in it. It was really cool that we got to kind of re-team on something together, and we both. For you guys, like for the Walking Dead fans who end up seeing this movie, it's going to be a lot of fun because we both play totally different characters in this film than what we do, on the show, than what I did on the show and what Josh does on the show. Especially Josh, like you're going to see a whole different side to him. He's great in it. It's going to be a lot of fun. You guys got to check it out. Middleman next year.
Make sure you definitely check out Middleman. And thank you again for doing the interview.
Yeah, you got it. Of course. Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
And next up is our interview with Denise Crosby, who played Mary in The Walking Dead.
It's recording.
You want me to clip this?
You can.
All right.
Is it all right if I get right here?
Yeah, God, yeah. Come on, watch the bag.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
All right. Hey, everybody out there, and welcome back to Creech Questions. I'm here with the lovely Denise Crosby, who you remember as Mary on The Walking Dead, and Tasha Yar on Star Trek. How's it been at the convention this weekend?
Oh my God! So Walker Stalker does an amazing job. I've been just so blown away by the fans and the kindness and excitement in everyone's eyes, and it's just they do a fantastic job.
They really do, and you've had such a varied career. As a matter of fact, I see that the Stephen King's Pet Sematary. That movie traumatized me when I was a little bit younger.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's good. Do you have any memories from working on that? Like any fun times or anything?
Oh.
It's such a serious and scary film.
Oh, it was extraordinary. We were in Maine for 4 months with that incredible scenery and really removed from the rest of the world into our own little place. And Stephen was very much a part of the movie. We rehearsed with him for about 2 weeks before we even started shooting. And it was just a really magical time. I mean, I had been a huge Stephen King fan before I started the movie, so, it was such a delightful honor for me to be part of.
Yeah, I still remember the scene where the child gets hit by the 18-wheeler. My mom cried every time. Yeah. It was a really good movie, though, and obviously you did an amazing job in that.
Thank you.
And we'll go to Star Trek. What was your favorite memory working on the set of that?
Well, I mean, the cast was just a great group of people. I think everybody had this great chemistry, and it was really a lot of fun. And, we didn't realize we were going to still be asked about it and talk about it, 27 years later.
And speaking of Star Trek again, and now with The Walking Dead, they have such passionate fan bases. What do you like, and how would you compare them? And what would you say is the difference between Star Trek fans and The Walking Dead fans?
Well, I mean, I believe the similarities are that, people are relating to the characters. They're identifying with these characters in some way, and they get very attached. Of course, The Walking Dead cycles in a lot of, more people that come in and leave the show and get killed or whatever than Star Trek did. But it really is about, I think, the characters that people really latch onto and follow.
the last Walking Dead question I'll ask as well. You were married for, I believe it was the finale of season 4 and the opener of season 5. What was your favorite moments on that show, especially during the attack on Terminus?
Well, I think the fight scene with Carol was pretty spectacular. I think they had just such a great idea in mind with all this candlelight and these two women really going at it with each other with full force. And Melissa did an amazing job. She was a delight to work with, very trusting. We really went for it, and I liked that part of it.
And do you have any upcoming projects you'd like to promote?
Yeah, right now I've been playing a character on the Showtime series Ray Donovan. I play Deb, and it's on Sunday nights, 9 on Showtime. And check it out, it's in the 3rd season.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed those 2 interviews. We're going to have another 2 for you next week. Next week, we are going to have a prison special with our interviews. It's going to be Vincent M. Ward and Nick Gomez, who were both prisoners from seasons 3 of The Walking Dead.
Nice.
Yes. So, is there anything that you want to give a shout out, or not necessarily a shout out, but just mention before we wrap this episode up?
I'm just ready to go on a wild ride with the rest of the TWD family.
Definitely. And we will be back same bat time, same bat channel next Monday to talk the beginning of this crazy wild ride. I'll be back a little bit sooner, probably a day earlier than that. But we look forward to hearing your thoughts on both the upcoming season premiere of The Walking Dead. And if you want to get in touch with us, we have all of our official channels. You can get in touch with me on Twitter at CJCNOV88 or Tumblr or Instagram at Creech Creative. And Alyssa is that's Twitter at Alyssa Leanne, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So definitely give us a follow, hit us up, and we'd love to talk. Or if you want to send your fan questions for Mr. Sean Clark, we are still accepting fan questions. So tweet them at us, and we will make sure we put them and ask him your questions. We will see you next week on Creech Questions.
Hey y'all, this is Lou Temple. Rick Nicotero.
Patty Moore.
T-Love.
Eric Jensen.
Emma Bell.
Big Chen for Vincent M. Ward. Jeff Cobra.
Jose Pablo Cantillo. Danny Robot. Lawrence Gilliard Jr. Lester Carbonell.
Parano. Daniel Thomas May.
Alan Moss.
Sarah Wayne Callies.
Chad Coleman.
I'm RJ May from Breaking Bad.
Bates Montell. AMC's Comic Book Man.
The Walking Dead, and you're listening to Creech. Creech Questions.
You better listen up good or I'm coming get you.
Hey everyone out there, this is CJ Creech, and you too can listen to our celebrity interviews on our podcast, Creech Questions. Check us out on CreechCreativeProductions.com and Facebook.com/CreechCreativeProductions.